Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be performing an autopsy of this little Nightcore Tube flashlight. I've got a working one, but Big Clive has already done a review of all of the flashlight's functions of a working one, so I'll send you over to his channel. There'll be a card right there that's going to pop up, and today we are going to have a look at this non-functioning one and try to see if it can be salvaged. Now, I already know what's wrong with this. I'm not going to try putting power into it because I don't want to make the problem worse. I don't know if it shows very well on the camera, but I can see here that the battery has vented, which means something horrible happened. And so some of the electrolyte came out of the battery and it made a big mess. So we're just going to go ahead here and open up the flashlight here. It's just got a couple of screws that will pop off here. They're really tight. I think the case is meant to be waterproof, or at least water resistant, but we'll see what happens here as we take this apart. Just gotta remove these screws. There we go. This is actually a pretty neat light. It's got a bunch of... Oops. Oh, did I just strip that screw? Oh, I did. Okay, crap. Give me a minute. I will be right back, because I have to figure out a different way to remove this screw. Okay, well that was a bit of an adventure. I actually ended up having to drill the offending screw out, which is never a fun process. So now we have the case open, and we've got the battery, which is very puffy. It's bulged out and very clear that something went horribly wrong with the battery there, so there's that going on. Now, the main board of the flashlight here is heat staked onto the plastic here, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to trim off that heat stake. Heat staking is a term for where you stick a piece of PCB onto a plastic post, and then you melt the post onto the PCB. It's a quick and dirty way to secure something to a board. Oh dear. This does not look particularly hopeful. It looks like the electrolyte got up into the components here. There's some pretty bad corrosion up around the LED leads. Some corrosion on the parts. Yeesh. Well, I'll tell you guys what. I'm going to go off into my kitchen and try to clean this off a little bit with a paste of baking soda and alcohol, and see if I can clean up the board here. Then we'll solder on some leads and see if this board even still works after that cataclysm. So see you in a few minutes. Alright, and we're back again. We've cleaned off the remains of the electrolyte on the board here, and it doesn't look too bad now. There's still some pretty hard corrosion on the LED lead there, but it doesn't appear like there's any damage to any of the actual components from the electrolyte getting on them. So what I'm going to do here, workbench lights are feeling a little dim here. I'm going to brighten things up just a little bit here. Give me a second here. Oop, that's the wrong way. There we go. Oh, I got a LED out on one of my lights. Ah, much better. Okay, so what I'm going to start by doing is I'm going to grab my flux pen here. Just going to dab some flux on that questionable joint there. And then I'm going to load the tip of my soldering iron here with a little bit of solder. And then I'm just going to come over here and kind of freshen that joint up a little bit. Some fresh solder on it, and the flux will push away any of that corrosion, because it's slightly acidic and cleans away the nastiness. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to flow some solder onto the spot where the positive lead goes. There we go. And what did I do with my flux pen? There it is. And then dab a little bit of flux there. And throw a little bit of solder I can get, I probably should have switched to my surface mount soldering iron tip for this, but it's a little late. The soldering iron's already hot and I don't want to switch. Well, I guess I could. My surface mount tip isn't even on the table. That means it's underneath the table somewhere. Okay, well, we're not going to bother switching over then. Alright, and then I'm just going to grab a couple short lengths of wire here and nip off the end there, nip off a longer bit here, there we go. And then, oops, that's not the right one. Do the same spiel on the red one here. All I'm doing right now is creating a couple of leads that I can provide a bench voltage into the flashlight here, so that it'll be simple to test whether or not the circuitry still works. If the circuitry still works, I will go out and purchase a new battery for the flashlight and install it in a second part of this video. And if it doesn't work, that'll still just be an autopsy video that I'll send over to Nitecore and say, hey, your flashlight died on me. And we'll see what they do. There we go. We'll tin these up too. A little bit of flux, a little bit of solder. I don't really need to tin these ones up, but why not? Okay, then the next step is to attach these leads to the board like so. This is going to be a little interesting. You know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to get my little vise here and gently grab the LED. There we go. And tack that on the board. Whoops. And carefully tack that on to where it goes. Actually, do that. Huh. I'm not too sure if that's actually properly secured. Give me a second here. There we go. All right. Now, this has a little lithium polymer or lithium ion battery in it, which means it's accustomed to providing about 4.2 volts. So I'm gonna reach over to my power supply here. And I'm going to set it to 4 volts. Just like the battery's maybe a little bit low. And we're going to apply 4 volts on there, and then we're going to click the power button and see what happens. Nothing. Well. That's discouraging. Let's see. Let me see if I can find that. Need a mini USB or micro USB charge cable, and I normally have a bazillion of them. There we go. Let's see what happens if we give it power. Oh, there we go. So, power works. I wonder if I got the polarity on those wires mixed up. Let me grab my keys here, because I've got a working one on my keys. No, I have the polarity correct on the thing there. Okay, well let's oops. This power supply isn't really that great for fine manipulation. There we go. 4.2. Let's see now. Nothing. Now I wonder if that's because I didn't get the lead soldered on well here, or Maybe I shorted something out. I'm going to mess with a little bit more off camera, see what I can do, and I will be back in just a few minutes. Well, I did some additional troubleshooting on the board. The LED still works, and that's actually a pretty neat LED. It's got an integrated heatsink for its high powerness. But something on the board has given up the ghost. So I'm going to call this. It doesn't look like I can fix it. I'll email this video to Nightcore and see if they have anything to say about it. But yeah, let's look at a Nightcore Tube flashlight that had a rather drastic failure of the battery. I'm still mildly amused. This is under quite a bit of pressure. Like, I can sit here and squeeze it and it's like pillowy. So it's kind of disappointing I won't be able to fix that. I might mess with a little bit more on my off time, but there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me play with a broken flashlight, and we'll just see you in the next video. Bye-bye.